There you go.
That was classic, dude. I was like, that is funny to me.
Y'all talking
Yeah,
about
Annapolis.
I was done at Barrow's Chocolate.
Barrows Charkley. Mr. Charkley.
Barrow's
And I'm
Chocolate.
not even really sure what they're advertising. I just enjoy the commercial.
Whatever it is, it's worth it.
It's the credit card. The little
Oh,
credit
okay,
card
which,
that
by the
Sam
way-
Jackson.
Yeah,
Which,
they
by
ain't
the way,
making me want
that's
to go
not
out
good.
and spend more money or get another credit card, but it's working somehow.
Yeah, it's
Look,
the Capital One.
No, it's not working. If at the end of the commercial you have no idea what they're advertising, it's not really a good commercial.
Well, I knew what there was advertising.
Advertising-wise.
It just didn't make me want to go spend money or get another.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the commercial, but I was like, I'm not sure what they advertise. Like, for example, the commercials with Shaq and Christian Laettner and Dr. J.
Foolish.
I remember those commercials, and I'm aware that it's AT&T that they're advertising.
Foolish.
I thought there was advertising basketball nets.
No.
Invested on their laurels.
Shaq's new fight song.
Laurel.
F-I-G-H-T. F-I-G-H-T.
No, what I love is, I love him. He's like, do you realize the irony there? Yes, that I've cut down the laurels and made it into a hammock so I could rest off on all of them.
Yes, that was good.
I don't know about hating Christian Laettner. Christian Laettner is cracking me up.
That's some strong.
It's cracking me up, but it's alright.
It's like, that's
It's alright to still
strong
hate Christian Laettner.
Man.
It's okay to still hate Christian Laettner.
I've never
It's okay.
hated. I never
hated
hated him.
I hated him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you when I stopped hating him. I stopped hating him when he gave my boy the business, Alonzo, and I was like, it ain't hate no more. This dude is good.
Well, they ain't got nothing to do with it. Why he gotta be bad just for me to hate him?
That are good, Pete. That doesn't have
Well, you can hate him. No, I guess my point is people hated him because he was good. Most of the people hate him because he was a Duke and he was good. So
I hated him independent of good or bad.
Why did you hate him? You didn't know him.
So that's never stopped me
I'm
before.
saying, I don't. The Duke Carolina thing never. When I moved to North Carolina, it never latched onto me, so I didn't care one way or the other about Christian.
Yeah, I was about to say I was a Carolina. I root for Carolina before I root for Duke, but I mean with certain players, I didn't like Danny Ferry more than didn't like Christian Laettner because I didn't think Danny Ferry was good enough to get the props he was getting. At least Christian Laettner was a baller. That's how I looked at it. At least he was good. I'm like, some of these cats, they used to get props to like,
yes,
I was like, some of these dudes, Wojciechowski and all these point guards, I'm like, all these boys was terrible. At least Laettner, if I'm gonna hate somebody, I'm gonna hate somebody that's they say is good is actually not that good. I'm like, good.
They good. Really good. They say they.
Nah, but Christian Laettner, I think the biggest thing
so much that when word started getting down, even when we was in school, when word started coming down from Durham, that him and Bobby Hurley would go at it, I started liking Bobby Hurley.
Yeah. But
really, Brad? Really?
I think the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing. Well, everybody thought Bobby Hurley was a pretty boy type, and he wasn't. And Christian Laettner was, from the backyards or whatever. But so when you heard about that rumor that they actually did not really like each other for a couple of years, everybody was kind of confused. Like, well, do we hate both of them? Or?
Nah, I didn't have to hate
both of them.
So.
And then see my cousin, my cousin went to high school with Grant Hill, so she was like, "No, Grant's cool. Grant's cool." I was like, "I'll take your word for it."
Why is Grant cool? Why is Grant cool? Because he was from a rich family.
Yes. No. Because my cousin said
he was cool because it's got. Pete, you didn't pay attention to the beginning of the story.
He was from a rich family.
No, it's cousin.
Him and saying 8 Mile.
He went with
that. Got a real good marriage. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then I met Grant Hill, and he was so cool. I didn't even know he was Grant Hill.
Was he cool?
Oh yeah, he was so cool. I didn't know it was Grant Hill.
Wow.
First of all, I mean, y'all get around these folks more than I do. That dude was so huge that I thought he was a defensive end on the Duke football team when I met him. Because it's not like we had a conversation. He was like, "I'm Grant Hill." We were just standing on a wall outside of a house party, and this dude was lit. and he was busting on every girl that walked by. I thought this guy was hilarious. This big, muscle-bound, Adonis dude.
Out there in the street.
I know. Hello, Grant Hill. Welcome to the front page.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Previn Taylor.
I'm about to say that's what we do.
The dude was in college, man, a student. He ain't get arrested.
And you know
he ain't hurt nobody.
And you know what? And that's what
student cool.
They bust on every girl that comes by.
Yeah.
And at house parties or otherwise. I
ain't say he hit on every girl that came by. I ain't say he hit every girl that came by. He was busting them. He was cracking on them. It was funny.
I got it.
Okay.
Cool. I got it.
So, Lanice, so you've been keeping up with the bracket. I didn't even start. I stopped looking at it after the first day because I had Iowa State in the Final Four. They let me down. I'm done. I was done with it. I wasn't surprised the Big 12 didn't represent, and I wasn't even a bit surprised that my boys were going to lose to Wichita State. If they didn't lose to Wichita State, they lost to Notre Dame. If they wouldn't have lost to Notre Dame, they would have lost to Kentucky. They were not making the finals.
I ain't even get past Notre Dame, I don't think.
Well, that's my point. So it didn't really matter. I just picked them to go against Kentucky because I would like to see the game until the last 5 minutes, and then Kentucky would have blew us out. But bottom line is, you've been paying attention. No, Kansas.
Okay.
You would have been. How you not know I'm a Kansas fan? Really?
Sorry, my bad. I knew it was one of them blue and white teams, so my bad.
And they not even blue and white. Lord Jesus.
Going with blue and white. Did I tell y'all?
Look at my profile picture is red and got a red T-shirt on. Anyway,
got a red T-shirt on now.
Exactly, but it's got Kansas.
Kansas been blue and white. I could have sworn Kansas was blue.
They're red, white, and blue, sweetheart.
Okay, so there's blue and white in there. Yeah, I just forgot.
Yeah, but you kind of anyway. You've been paying attention to the brackets, so
nevertheless,
who's doing what with the brackets? Because you've been keeping up with that.
Previn Icewater Taylor is in the number 1 spot currently, followed by your main.
That should tell you right there.
Man, Jason, I didn't want to make the call tonight, Simmons, and then some dude named Shelton is number 3. I'm not sure who he is.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of miscellaneous people that fall in the middle.
Shout out to Shelton.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah, shout out to Shelton.
I don't know who he is, but good looking. He's number 3. Then there's a lot of miscellaneous people. There's some chick all the way down at the bottom named Heather who joined.
Apparently didn't make any picks, apparently.
Yeah, made absolutely no picks. And then there's me. So I guess I would be dead last at the moment, although my potential points are more than some of the people ahead of me because I actually started looking at potential points after.
Well, that's all you got to look at after you lose.
Well, no, because I was like,
I was looking at potential. I was looking at potential points on that Friday morning, the last week. No. I lost Iowa State in the first day, and then lost Virginia 2 days later. I'm like, God, no, what's going on?
Well, no, because when I was at Saturday morning, I think when I posted, I was just giving like who was the top 3 and then the bottom 2. And I got reprimanded by Dwayne because he was like, well, I got more potential points than some other folks and blah, blah. And I was like, dude, who's looking at that? I'm just looking at the rankings. But sure, you got more potential points. Whatever. You at the bottom. Deal with it.
And now you're looking at potential points.
And this is why I don't.
You made me look at potential points. So now I'm looking at everybody's potential points. But potentially speaking, if we're gandering at potential points, potentially speaking, Prev actually still has the highest number of potential points of the top 3 people. So, barring something going catastrophic,
what in the world? I mean,
I haven't even actually looked at Prev, who do you have in the final? Who do you have in the championship game? Because I didn't actually look at your bracket.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it was an obvious championship game, Duke and Kentucky.
Kentucky. Okay.
I don't know. It's going to be a lot more obvious now the way things fell. Duke, good Lord, just hand them the Final Four.
Duke always
had a nice easy bracket, you know.
Duke always gets the easy bracket.
At home.
Right, because they were in Charlotte making it do what it do, so it was like a home game for him. So Prev, unless something goes completely wrong with his bracket, i.e. Kentucky doesn't make it to the Final Four, I feel good. Or the championship.
If they beat West Virginia, they're going to the final game. Ain't no team. So West Virginia is the only team. Reason why everybody's talking about it right now.
Under current analysis, as long as Kentucky holds out, I feel like Prev is in the number 1 spot and is gonna ride this out. Again, unless something goes catastrophically wrong. Potentially speaking, with potential points.
But the point is, if Kentucky lose, that means that side of the bracket is going to go catastrophically wrong for everybody. So Prev is okay because nobody.
Well, no,
I
Duke
assume
might
that
not make it either. No, because Duke might not make it either, and then Prev would be all jacked up because not everybody had Duke and Kentucky in the final. Like I had Duke and I don't know. I think it might have been Virginia.
Kentucky?
No, I mean I had Kentucky and I think maybe Virginia.
That's who I had in the finals. I had Kentucky and Virginia in the finals.
So I'm holding out hope with Kentucky.
Well, I mean, but my point is, most everybody picked Kentucky. So you and me having Kentucky at this point is not going to help.
Right, but he might lose some other folks along the way and lose some more potential points.
Ain't that many left? There was 16 left.
Hey man, look. Again, I went with potentially speaking, and I said I think Prev is gonna win. But things happen. Stranger stuff has happened, Pete.
Stranger things have happened. Look, I ain't no sort of basketball expert.
What's strange? Did somebody pick UCLA to go to the final game? That's about it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's about it.
And because I haven't looked at the brackets, this could have happened.
And most of us know people on the East Coast, so a lot of us didn't go to UCLA, so I'd really seriously doubt anybody in this has got UCLA in the final game against Kentucky. Oh my God, dude. It's been a crazy. It's been nuts. But if West Virginia, if they're the only team that plays such a wacky style of press and just open, I've seen them play twice against Kansas and they gave Kansas fits. It's not but my point is that if they beat West Virginia, they're gonna beat everybody else because you can't play traditional basketball against them. It's too many players.
And I would like to say for the record that West Virginia picks this year to actually show up and show out in a tournament. The year that I don't pick them to go to the Sweet 16, I'm a little jaded about that because they made me an honorary Mountaineer fan at my job, and so I feel some kind of way because I was like, oh, I can't go to the Sweet 16 again because they've been killing me the past 2 years. So I picked them to get out of the first round and then crash and burn.
Is West Virginia the only Big 12 team left?
No, Oklahoma. But I was about to make that
Oklahoma.
point. If you'd have told me out of the 7 Big 12 teams that was going to make it, it was going to be West Virginia, Oklahoma, I'd have been like, you were out of your mind. To tell me that Iowa State, Kansas, or Baylor couldn't have made the Sweet 16, one of those 3 teams. And that's crazy to me because even though Oklahoma was a 3 seed, they started winning a little bit at the end. Well, they started winning a little bit at the end, but you could tell they got a lot of weaknesses. West Virginia, they just play, they either on or off. You know what I'm saying? They either all the way on or they all the way off. Yeah, they're unorthodox, so you don't know what you're going to get. That's why they say this is the toughest game for Kentucky because if you try to play Kentucky straight up basketball, we're going to line you up man for man, play a little zone, play man to man. You get beat. West Virginia presses the entire game just like, the old school Arkansas teams, 40 minutes of hell. So it'll be interesting how Kentucky, the guards play against them, but I just don't see it, man. Kentucky they just got too many players, dude. It's just too many. But yeah, and I'm gonna give a shout out to the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks, #1 seed in the South region. Took care of their first 2 opponents by an average of 30 points. And they will now be playing in the Greensboro region to go to the Final Four. Next opponent, Battle of the Carolinas, North Carolina 4 seed, South Carolina 1 seed. And the game's Friday night in Greensboro, and I will be there or be square.
Oh.
I think the girls, the South Carolina girls, the only team I really see them having to play is going to be Connecticut. Connecticut is ridiculous. They are so lethal. But anyway.
And the sun comes up in the morning. Yes, that's Connecticut basketball.
Right.
I think Florida State's still in it too. Yay, #1 seed.
Florida State?
The girls.
For what?
NCAA.
They don't have a 1. They got a 3 or 2.
Okay. Yeah,
They're a 2 or 3, but I think they're still in it though. I think you're right.
Still in it.
Because the one seeds were Notre Dame, Connecticut, South Carolina, and Maryland. Maryland was the
then
1
maybe
seed, all the
there's-
1 seeds. And I think Florida State's like a 3. I think they're still in it, though. I think they are still in it.
I'm pretty sure I saw that they were still in it like yesterday or two.
No, they're actually pretty good. They got a lot of score. They can score, but yeah, the girls' game. Usually now is the time to watch the girls' tournament because usually in the first couple of rounds it usually stays chalk because the good teams are a lot better. Because usually the top 8 teams are usually that much better than the rest of the teams.
The top 5 to 8 teams is like and everybody else is ridiculous.
I mean, you'll get a couple of upsets here and there, but the bottom line is like a 12-5 upset in the women's bracket. That's nothing. I mean, that
not gonna happen.
Yeah, because both those teams are probably pretty much identical. They just had to rank somebody 12 and have to rank somebody 5. You know, if you really rank them, they probably be both 8 and 8s. You know what I'm saying? You probably just have 8s across the board at the bottom. It's like, who ranked 8s? Like, no 5? No, all 8s.
All 8.
All 8s. You got 1s, 2s, and 8s.
And
just line them up. I'm serious. I mean, that's what we're saying. Insert team. Princeton went into the tournament undefeated, but they played in the Ivy League. And they got an 8 seed. And got beat. You know, so they got beat by Maryland.
Catholic boys and girls.
Yeah. They finished 35-1 or something like that. That's just the way it is in women's basketball. But at least they got the nerve to play with a 30-second shot clock. Men's scared to do that.
The 35-second shot clock thing.
Dude, you look up, you see the scores at halftime: 26-18, 22-8, 22-20. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
They got all day to shoot the basket. I'm like, can we get that down? Because they're like, well, maybe they should put it at 30. Could you put it at 25? Let's get this cranking.
I mean, at least start with 30.
Let's get this party started.
At least start with 30, man. That is bad. I mean, they doing it in NIT. They're experimenting with the NIT. They're doing the international rules. So they're doing 30-second shot clock with a wide lane with a wider lane. But it is better. But the problem is
the wider lane. Can you cut the time off the amount of times they're gonna throw the ball around the hoop? Like,
what they said is they can cut the time. They said, but the coaches will have to really coach better because the flip side, the devil's advocate of that is you force them to shoot faster, but they might take shots that more bad shots. So it's still going to come down to execution.
Guys running up and down the floor and taking a bunch of bad shots.
Right. So it's like it still comes down to coaching and execution. You still got to be able to have a plan against that 30-second clock. You got to have some people that can execute the play because it gets you can, like you said, you can run up and down and still shoot a bunch of bad shots and within 10 seconds it don't matter. So
there's a lot of that going on with the 35 seconds. So I mean, if they get to the bad shot faster, so be it. But let's speed things along, okay? I mean, there's a lot of bad shots being taken with 35 seconds on the clock. I'm willing to risk it at 30 seconds. I'm willing to risk it.
The score would be the same, and you'd be like, "Man, for all this, we can go to 40 seconds."
Like, nah, I cut it to 25. Let's go. Like, let's speed this up.
Like, I'm willing to risk it.
Why not? Let's take a chance.
Denise is laying it all on the line for the 40-second shot clock.
So football. So what's going on with football, man?
Y'all talking to Adrian Peterson?
Yeah, I guess.
Isn't Adrian Peterson the only thing happening right now in football?
Yeah.
And was it the Jets GM or owner or something said that Geno Smith was ahead of Mariota, but
okay, we don't even need to talk about that.
No, so I mean, but that's what it is in football. That's what it is, and then
personally, I don't see what's so
newscaster guy
complicated
going
about
bananas
this.
about Greg Hardy.
I don't see what's so complicated about this Adrian Peterson thing, man. I mean, his agent
He's on the
talking about his.
contract.
Well, you know what? I'll be honest. If I'm the if I'm the Vikings GM, I'm just gonna trade him to Jacksonville.
Unless he got a no trade clause, send him out.
He ain't got no trade clause. This ain't baseball.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Like I said, this dude sitting talking about y'all gonna trade me to Dallas. Oh, really? That's how it works? You're demanding to retrade you to Dallas?
And no Tampa
Yeah.
Bay.
Well, I don't think he's demanding that they trade him
Well,
to Dallas.
it sounds agent is. It sounds like his agent is trying
Demanding
to.
be
Well,
traded.
but I guess my point is players hide behind their agent. So
Yeah.
he didn't want his agent to talk. He would tell him not
Yo,
to say
dude.
those things.
Yeah,
Shut
he would.
your mouth.
He would
Or
tell
they
him
gonna
to shut
send
up.
me to Oakland.
But again,
No, Trent was.
I'm with Prev on this one because everybody keeps going that he's interested in the Cowboys and the Cardinals.
I don't
But
care who we're interested in. You
if
going
I'm
to
the
Jacksonville.
owner and the GM, after you've acted a donkey in front of multiple cameras and
And then acted a camel.
Shut
Yeah, I
up.
saw that. I saw that.
I'm gonna go ahead
Salt
and
and
trade you to
SWAT.
the place that you really don't want to be. And I'm not trading you anywhere in the NFC to help out my competition. No. I'm sorry, sir.
Hey, why would I want to see Dallas back in the playoffs again? You going to Jacksonville,
Right.
sucker.
Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Oakland.
Well, Tampa gonna have a quarterback next year.
Mariota.
Whatever.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. They gonna have Jameis, famous Jameis.
Jameis.
Famous.
And Jacksonville got look. Yeah, Tampa got receivers. Got a halfway decent defense. They could be. Look, it's the NFC South. They can finish first next year.
I was about to say that it's the
Yeah,
NFC.
I ain't trading them to Tampa. I'm trading them to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Set your
Yeah, that's
retirement up
true.
early.
Or trade him to Tennessee. Or even Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Or
Yeah, you
Tennessee.
go Tennessee. Jacksonville, Tennessee.
Trade him to Tennessee.
Or Cleveland.
No.
I'm gonna
Don't
put it to
do
you
that.
like this.
Because
No.
Cleveland is where players go, careers go to die.
But you know what? I don't care. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm not saying that Cleveland's gonna make the playoffs anytime soon, but count your nationally televised games. If I'm trying to stick it to Adrian Peterson, he ain't even gonna be on TV. So yes, that's Tennessee
That's
and
Tennessee.
that's Jacksonville.
And that's
That's
Jacksonville.
definitely. Although
Cleveland-
they're lifting the blackout rule, right?
Because I
That
thought they
still
were
doesn't make
pending
them
it.
nationally televised, Pete. They're going to get a Thursday night game because everybody gets a
They're gonna get
Thursday
one
night
Everybody
Thursday
gets a
night
Monday
game.
night. Everybody
and
gets a
everybody gets a Monday night game. So we're going to see if they trade him to Jacksonville or Tennessee, we're going to see Adrian Peterson
And
go
when people
time.
see Jacksonville on Monday night, that's the one Monday night they go to church or something.
Or go to bed early.
They go to bed early. They watch Netflix or something. All I'm saying is, see, Cleveland got a whole schedule full of Steelers and Ravens and
That's
teams
true.
that people watch on TV. Nah, man, you going to Jacksonville.
That's true. I can see your vindictive, angry.
I really
Fight for
am,
logic,
man. I
Chris.
used to be sitting there talking about only support me. Shoot, dude, what you want?
I mean,
Well, they did support him.
But
They
I guess my
supported him
point-
right
but I guess
into
they-
the sponsors
You
for my
talking about? He got paid.
he got paid. That's what I'm saying. That's enough
Big man.
support. Ray Rice would have loved that support.
That's what I'm saying.
Ray Rice would have loved that.
Hey, man.
I
They
think we all
supported
would
him
have loved
until the
13
sponsors
million.
came, and then they put him on the special list.
I
He still
think
got paid.
put me on the
Nobody,
special list and give me 13 million right now.
I'm taking it. Sign me up for that type of punishment. You said I
Give
don't
me
have to.
13 million.
Wait,
Put me on.
you saying I don't have to go to work? I don't have to go to practice, and I'm
And-
still gonna get a check every week?
And the one thing, And the one thing I will agree- and the one thing I will agree- and the one thing I will agree with, like Stephen A. was saying, I will agree with this. And I kind of thought about it myself. I was like, dude, that whole trial could have went a little bit to the left for you. Lucky it went to the right.
Right.
And you complaining about getting paid?
You complained that
Who cares if they didn't support you? I mean, is it that sensitive? Like,
She's emotional.
I mean, you can be emotional, but you don't have to say anything.
I
can be emotional.
I hate to be driven to the point where I'm quoting Colin Cowherd, but to quote Colin Cowherd, Adrian Peterson is not a learned man.
Learn it.
Learn it.
Yeah, he said that.
He did.
Oh,
I was like, Dad, I hate to quote this dude.
nothing else going on in football this week, man.
It's quiet, man. There's a bunch of nondescript free agent signings.
Papa, J.J. Watt took a pay cut or restructured his deal or something to save the Texans $8 million.
Already? He just got it.
They still gonna get it. It's just gonna be redistributed differently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever it was, because
That's not news.
they said that.
That's
what
not
was
news. Then what are they talking about?
No, it was breaking news on
Breaking.
NFL on ESPN or some mess.
They ain't
It was
got
like
nothing else to do.
because again, it's a slow media day, so it's like what was the quote they had on the page was he's the gift that keeps on giving because he saved him $8 million in cap space. So I guess he restructured the deal or something.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually read the article because I was thinking
that's definitely a slow day if they saying that's breaking news.
Hey
Yeah.
man, I just
What they gonna do?
You just the messenger, right, Lenise? You just the
I'm
messenger.
just the messenger. It rolled through my Facebook news feed. I was like, oh, do tell, because again, my notifications are still off on my phone. And
Yeah. So let me ask this question. I mean, it's not really a question. It's just what y'all feel about it. When the whole Monet Davis thing came out,
Which one?
When she
The book of
Monet Davis top.
No. I'm talking about the Little League. I'm talking about the Little League World Series when they had Monet Davis all over the TV and everything, and people talked about how basically, indirectly or directly, ESPN and the media was blowing the story up to get more ratings and get people to watch and all this stuff. And then, of course, the kids from Chicago, they had to give back championships and all that stuff. I am absolutely happy that she's writing her books and doing the things that she can get a little bit out of this situation for herself, because I thought that was part of the process. I know she's good, but I thought they used that girl for every ounce of, I don't want to say exploited her because it's not that serious, but I thought they used that girl.
Never really feeling that whole somebody's being exploited.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't go that far. I'm not going that far.
I wasn't thinking she was being exploited. I thought it was a good story because, I mean, one, let's be honest, when the Little League World Series is going on, there's not much else happening on TV. So all it is baseball to cover anyway, that's when you don't watch Sports Center. So that was a good story to cover. It was valid because it was history, all of that stuff. So I didn't think they were overhyping it. I just felt like it was a slow media time. So they had more coverage of it than normal. Had that taken place during football season, nobody would have cared. That's just the facts. But when the NBA Finals was over, all they had was baseball. So you just, and the draft had come and gone for the NFL. It was before the offseason started and all of that stuff. So I don't think it was overhyped or over sensationalized. And she was playing in the Little League World Series. That's news. So yeah. I mean, that's news, and it's. I would say it from a history standpoint. There's been other girls that have played. Not other girls that can pitch like her, but there's been other girls. Right, but she's the first one to pitch. She pitched the shutout, and she won. That she's the first girl to do that. So there's been other girls that played, but she's the only one that won and pitched the shutout. So it was history. And
that's what I said. But I know, I guess it's news, but I'm just glad that now you look at the aftermath of all this. They were getting upset at her about, she's doing these commercials and everything. I'm like, y'all set the table.
What was she supposed to do?
Well, who was
I was about to say, what she was, I'm about to say, y'all set the table.
I mean, somebody put a box of weeds in front of her. What was she supposed to do?
Let that girl. There was a lot of people that were like talking about, I mean, there was some debates on all the things about how she, was she getting paid, all the little knick-knack things they try to throw out there as far as like violations and rules and all that stuff.
My concern is not as far as the Little League. My concern is like the movie, the book, and all of that stuff. Is that going to hurt her amateur status for being able to go to college to play basketball? That's my concern. Like, I mean, do you? But I'm like, with all the stuff that she's got going on, because I think it's great that she's doing sneakers and so forth for, the underprivileged kids and all of that stuff. I thought that was a good story. I put it this way: if she's signed to go to an HBCU, then yes, her amateur status will be ruled a violation. I can guarantee it. Well, she's not, because she wants to go to UConn.
Yeah, no.
So she wants to go to UConn.
Safe. She's safe. If you go to win a flagship,
Gino will work that out. If Gino wants her, he'll work that out.
He'll work that out. Because my thing is with girls, they can't do the one and done. So if she plans to have her dream of actually getting to the WNBA, if her parents don't have the money to foot the bill to pay for her to get through college, she's gonna need that scholarship. So that's my only concern is like, are they jeopardizing her amateur status? Now, I do think it's a bit much for her to have a movie. She's 14. I'm sorry.
Blame Hollywood, man.
What am I going to sit down and watch? What am I going to sit down and watch for a 14-year-old? Because at this point, all you've done is pitching the World Series.
Little League.
In the Little League World Series.
She was 14 years old and pitched in the Major League World Series.
She was 13.
We all been watching that.
Right, but you pitched in the Little League World Series and you won our game. You didn't even win the championship. Your team didn't win.
Draft day.
They didn't even make the finals.
Right. So what are we watching? Because at this point, your story ends there. Like, can we get her? Like, if you're gonna do the story, let's do it like Michael Orr. Let's
not to be a hater.
Blame the same institution that's having Fast and Furious 17.
You leave Fast and Furious alone.
All right.
Stop that. Leave that alone.
Right.
But anyway.
Is Michael Bay
can't wait for Fast and Furious 7. Sorry.
Stop it.
Can't wait for April 3rd. I'm all in. But anyway, so my point is at this point, your story has ended with you losing in the Little League World Series because you didn't win it.
Nope.
And could you at least give me like Michael Orr and let's get to the draft day and see you get drafted?
But what if the opening scene is of her actually being in a movie?
Say what?
What if the opening scene of her movie is her being in a movie? Did the story really end with the Little League World Series loss? Or was it just the beginning?
Really, Fred? Really?
I can't believe you're supposed to let him do stuff like that. Stop.
Well, because I couldn't hear what he was saying. I was like, what? And then he said it, and I'm like, okay, you're a dumbass. But really? That's what we're going with?
Are you serious? Oh,
hey, I wouldn't protest it. I ain't saying it's too much for the movie. I'm just like, hey, that's Hollywood, man.
No, but I'm just
so
like,
you're gonna go there, just write the script. Because you're like, the story ends. I'm like, well, does it end or is it really the beginning?
Right.
She's 14 years old. Her life is all ahead of her.
But that's my point. But right this moment, her life has, what we got, if it's supposed to be a feel-good, because sports is supposed to be feel-good, give you all this other great stuff and accomplishments and all that stuff. We got nothing. You lost.
I mean, it could be
at the end of the day, you lost.
She's like, we got nothing. You lost.
You lost.
As much as I like watching her pitch, that second game she pitched, she got hit.
I mean, because even though old boy got kicked out of college because he made a comment, he was telling the truth. She got rocked by Nevada. Okay. True story. Now, he didn't have to call it a B word.
I thought he called her an S word.
He went too far.
I thought he called her an S word.
Oh, well, whatever. He called her.
I saw the tweet. He called her.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever the case was,
and then you're going to say the
call
word.
Her that.
Well, you can edit that.
Yeah. He didn't have to call her that, but he made a true statement. She got rocked in the second game. So, again, if I'm watching a Disney feel-good movie, you lost.
Not if you're rooting for the other team.
Not making me feel good at the end of this. I got nothing. So why are we doing this?
I was rooting for Chicago anyway.
I was rooting for Nevada. Anyway.
So I mean,
I was rooting for the team that had the. Actually, I was rooting for the little Mexican team with the little dude on it, man. It was balling. They got beat. Anyway, I like little dudes, man. I like them little dudes. I used to be one of them.
I wonder why, man.
I can't imagine why.
He'd be like, I remember when I was little.
I remember them little dudes, man. I remember I was that little man hitting the ball, running.
Running out, Dukes. Running.
We will stop right there.
Man, back in the day, man. T-ball, Mustang, Bronco, Pony, Colt, Palomino, junior high, well, baseball. That's a joint.
Y'all really love horses, huh?
That's the name of the daggone leagues, man. That's how they do, man. Who knows, man? Oh, man. Anyway. Ain't too much else going on these days.
Yeah, we're entering,
No, except for
Sweet 16, I guess, to give us some nice stories.
Sweet 16 will be good. Oh, wait, there was the Kevin Durant thing. Or did we cover that?
That's a thing?
He's out? He's out,
He's
right?
done for the season.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So their championship.
Yeah, because they thought he was coming back, Fred, just to bring you up to speed. They thought he was coming back, and then all of a sudden this week, or end of last week, they stopped.
They still think Derrick Rose is coming back.
They stopped basketball activity. That's how that went.
So he's not playing NBA Live or nothing?
Oh,
All basketball activities. There's no live, there's no dead, there's no half.
Nah, because if he twists his ankle on the game, it might be like a voodoo doll. Oh, yeah. His ankle will start hurting.
Okay, well, yeah, that's kind of like that Christian Laettner observation that Duke gets favorable calls. That's good to know going into the future. Thank you, Christian.
Nah, Durant, yeah, Westbrook had to carry him, but he can't carry them to a championship. They're not good enough for that. So,
Nah.
yeah.
So who do you think is going to get the MVP? Because that seems to be a hot and heavy topic here recently.
Steph Curry better get that thing.
Curry, well, now everybody's campaigning for Westbrook.
He ain't getting that in. Man, if they give him that MVP and they are 8 seed, that's just terrible. That'll be really terrible.
Not in there, 8 seed.
I mean, yeah, he's putting up triple doubles. I mean, well, I'm not saying that it can't happen, but my point is, yeah, he's putting up all these triple doubles, but they're not winning. You can't be the most valuable player on the team, and the team is not. I mean, you can be the most valuable player for a team, but you're not the most valuable player in the league if your team's not winning. I mean, ask Michael Jordan one year when Charles Barkley took his MVP, because they actually gave Charles Barkley the MVP. Rumors have it because the Phoenix Suns that year finished with the best record. People don't realize that when the Bulls played Phoenix in '93, I think it was. Phoenix actually had home court. They had the best record, so they gave that edged the MVP to Charles Barkley that year, which is the only one he ever won. And everybody says that, you know, Jordan, like LeBron, you're the best player in the game, Jordan, but we're gonna get this one to Barkley because they got the better record. So usually the NBA leans on the teams with the better records. That's why, to me, I mean, Steph Curry is. If you told Steph Curry to go out and put up 40 points every game, like Westbrook, he probably could do it, but he don't have to. He does enough, and his team wins. That's what an MVP is, a winning team. So I would give it to Steph Curry. James Harden.
I'm okay with it being Steph Curry. I was just asking the opinions because
Westbrook
his numbers are still off the. I mean, because it's not like Steph Curry's numbers are bad. He's still doing 30 a night.
But that's my point. That's what I'm saying. If you told him, okay, average 5 more points, he would just shoot 2 more times. You know, like that's what he don't. It's like he's averaging 21 points a game, 21 points and 9 assists or something. Okay, I want you to average 26 points, so shoot 2 more times. 1 more 3 and 2 free throws. I mean, the dude. That's about to say the dude is sick. Steph Curry, he's absolutely insane. Talking about somebody that can score 50 when he wants to. I think he could. I just think he'd be like, ain't no need. I don't want to do
like all that tonight.
Because if he do that, then he got to do another. You got to do another ESPN commercial with the chicken curry. I don't know if y'all seen that yet.
I have. Numerous times.
Curry stew.
Every night, man. I lace it up for guys.
Just like you every night.
Like you every night.
What are you talking about, Steph? I said, man, I put up that 51 last week. Curry stew. That is my joint.
I love it. And then but the best part is, it's like, who is that guy? I don't know, but he's really excited about the chicken curry.
He really liked the chicken. And you didn't see the part where he was shaking their hands and they had to take their gloves off and start changing their gloves.
Yes, I did.
I was like, this is too good.
That is the
man. Best. Steph Curry is a fool. That boy's like chicken curry.
That's like
curry stew.
Lace them up for guys just like you every night.
Yeah, man.
That's good stuff.
Oh, well, yeah. Ain't no need of forcing no more stories, man. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this bed early.
Woohoo! Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Keep excitement. Oh, and I can catch my show too. I DVR it.
All right, yo.
Appreciate it.
That's the show.
All right
now.
Do it next week. Peace.